What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Welcome to Alex Sports Talk and Bets. And I decided we're going to kick off our NFL season previews with the Green Bay Packers. Now, those of you who are already subscribed here, you guys know that I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, but I'm going to be completely objective and honest in this video. The title is what I think of the season, which is, being a Packers fan is a conundrum because you're never bad enough to suck or not make the playoffs, but you're often not good enough to win a Super Bowl either. I remember asking my friend who's a Giants fan, what's worse, just going into the season knowing you have no chance, or going into every season knowing you're going to make the playoffs but you're going to lose. And I do agree with him when he said it's better to just know you're going to go to the playoffs every season and then lose than to have to wonder if your team's going to be completely unwatchable. So I'm appreciative of being a Packers fan and how we're always in the mix. But it's also frustrating because the Green Bay Packers are going to have another mid-season, right? By that I mean they're going to make the playoffs. They're not going to be bad enough to not make the playoffs, but they're not going to be good enough to win a Super Bowl either. Brian Gutekunst, let me talk about the Packers first before I go. Let me just explain to you guys the conundrum of the Packers. The Packers have a habit of going into every season with a really good team that has a glaring hole. That for some reason there were no free agents signed, or oftentimes not even a first round draft pick invested into that glaring hole. And eventually it comes back to bite them every single season. Now this year, that glaring hole, well now it's a double hole, is the pass rush. Now here's the thing, I'm not a big fan of the secondary, which is why I said now it's a double hole, but I also know that the pass rush is way more important than the secondary. If you have a dominant pass rush, your secondary is going to automatically look good. Nate Hobbs is good, but he's always hurt. Keyshawn Nixon is a bum. Carrington Valentine is mid. Xavier McKinney is the best safety in the league. Evan Williams is all right to me. He graded out good as a rookie. Javon Bullard, we'll see what he becomes, but as of right now, he is below mid. So the secondary, I don't know about them, but the reality is they might be decent. They might be good to decent. The pass rush has to be good. It was trash last year. And we definitely don't have the secondary to hold up with the trash pass rush. So what do we do to address this trash pass rush, especially with our secondary that's questionable? Nothing is the answer. Don't invest a first-round draft pick into it. Don't sign nobody. Don't trade for nobody. We go right back with the same pass rush that was ineffective last year, as if it's going to be any different this year. Now, here's the thing with the Packers. Why do I say they're going to be a good team? They're going to easily make the playoffs. Well, they addressed their other glaring need from last season, which was we all knew we didn't have a number one receiver. We had a bunch of good receivers, but no great one we could rely on. We have that now with Matthew Golden. After the first 20 years, they finally addressed getting a true talented first-round receiver. Golden's going to be fine. Him and Love are going to blow the scores up. My man Jaden Reed in the slot, Romeo Dobbs, then Christian Washington for the 3 games. You'll have him when he comes back before he has some other ailment. But either way, you got Josh Jacobs in the backfield and a very strong offensive line. So I can see the Packers offense having no problem. The defense, on the other hand, with me knowing they have a glaring hole at pass rush, you're relying on Lucas Van Ness, who looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane, who's shown no real indication that he's going to be a dominant pass rusher at all. Rashawn Gary, who's inconsistent, but can win you a game when he's in his zone. Kenny Clark, who is consistent, but it's consistently good. Not great, but good, right? And then Devontae Wyatt is a good pass rusher when he's out there. Not the best run defender. We'll see what these 2 rookies from Georgia do on the defensive line. I think that should have been addressed earlier, but I don't think it's as big a deal. I like the linebackers, Quay Walker, Adrian Cooper. I don't like Isaiah McDuffie, but he's decent. And we'll see if Tyron Hopper makes a jump. Yeah, but at some point this season, look, the Packers offense is going to be one of the best offenses in the league. You got Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave, like I said, dominant O-line. Jordan Love's going to solidify himself as a top 10 quarterback for the people who are still questioning if he is. The receiving corps is going to be great, led by Matthew Golden. They're going to score a lot of points. When they need a stop against the good teams, are they going to be able to get it? That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Otherwise, they're going to make the playoffs, maybe win a game, but not going to be in the NFC Championship, let alone the Super Bowl. We'll see. Maybe Lucas Van Ness makes the jump. If he did, and he becomes at least a good pass rusher, yeah, Packers are automatic Super Bowl contenders. But if he doesn't, which I don't expect him to, you're going to go, after you lose your playoff game, you're going to think, dang, if only we had a pass rusher. And you know what's funny? Next year, if that happens, and I'll end the video with this. Next year, if that happens, that will be when Brian Gutekunst will finally address the pass rush. But at that point, we'll have another problem. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as receiver this year. We finally addressed receiver, but because we didn't address the pass rush, it's going to end up not being enough. Then they'll address the pass rush. There'll be another issue. They never plug all the issues at once. There's always one glaring flaw because we got cheap or scared to make the splash move, and it comes back to bite us in the playoffs. So the Packers, they'll be good. I will say this, if you're a Green Bay fan like I am, you're going to have a fun season. You're going to win a lot of games. You're going to get a lot of bragging rights. But when it comes down to big boy ball, who's going to win the championship, you're going to lose. And you're going to lose because you don't have a pass rush. That's just the way we live. Look, I thought when Brian Gutekunst came in for Ted Thompson, I was like, okay, we're gonna actually plug holes. We're gonna sign free agents, and I'll give Gutekunst this to wrap it up. He does sign free agents, but it's like he still leaves us with a glaring hole. You know, if you're gonna go all in on Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinley to make sure we're gonna be a playoff team and one of the better teams in the division, then why don't you just go all in and get an edge rusher? You've got the first round pick receiver. Why wouldn't you do it? It doesn't make any sense. You're already in. But, like I said, they'll probably do it next year. But the problem will be someone else will have left the team. So now we have another hole. And they're not going to fill that hole. I can already tell you that hole will be cornerback. And they're not going to fill that hole. So we'll see what happens for the Green Bay Packers with their philosophy. And maybe it's because the team has been spoiled. We'll have a Hall of Fame quarterbacks. The Packers have to have Hall of Fame quarterback play all the time. If the quarterback play is mid, they're going to lose. They have to, for the Packers to win a championship, I'm saying, not games, a championship, they have to have elite quarterback play. If the quarterback play is mid, they're going to lose. I'm telling you guys how it works in Green Bay. So if Jordan Love can't be one of those Hall of Fame level top 5 quarterbacks in the league, can win you a game you're probably not supposed to win, then the Packers aren't going to win. Because he's never going to have an overwhelming team. Jalen Hurts has an overwhelming team with the Eagles, especially last year. They didn't really have a weakness. Every area was pretty much addressed. Saquon Barkley put them completely over the edge. A great defensive line. The linebackers played over their head. Secondaries played over their head. Offensive line, one of the best in the league. Wide receivers, you got 2 number ones, really. You got a number 1, Mascot's a number 2 in Devonta Freeman, along with A.J. Brown. Solid tight end. Jalen Hurts, great quarterback. You didn't have a weakness. Now, if the Packers were the Eagles, you would not have the defensive line or not have the secondary because they didn't want to draft the secondary. You would have some gaping hole that would have cost you the game against the Packers or the Rams. That's what would have happened. But because your GM filled all your holes, you beat everybody and you won a championship. Fairly easy. So, we'll see. Again, Lucas Van Ness plays over his head and everything is wrong, but I don't see that happening. So I think the Packers are going to, they're going to make the playoffs. Probably be like maybe 11-5 to 9-7. I say on the higher end, 11-5, 10-7. I mean 11 I'm sorry, 12-5, 10-7. But either way, I see it stopping there. All right, y'all, that's my preview on the Green Bay Packers. I am Alex and I am out. Peace. We'll have another preview tomorrow.